New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. Hello again, dear ones. There we go. Hello, dear ones. Dr. Robert over here.
Rev Z right here.
Rev Eugene Holden right here.
And this is New Thought today for January 13th, 2026. Thank you so much for being with us. We are so grateful you've chosen to tune in. Whether you're watching live or at another time, feel free to chime in, chat along, comment in the comment box or whatever, anyway, that platform, whatever platform you're on, lets you do. We'd love to hear from you again, live or on a replay. We'll get back to you if you're on the replay. And our guest today, the newly minted, I'm going to say, Reverend Eugene Holden, coming to us out of Delaware, the state of Delaware, here in the United States of America. And Reverend Eugene, welcome aboard.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Robert and Reverend Elzia. Good to see you guys again. We go way back.
we do go way back, and we're not telling those stories today, folks.
Yeah, we are not.
but we do want to know a little bit more about you. So, Reverend Eugene, tell the people watching what we need to know about you to get this whole thing started today.
Well, what I want people to know right off the bat, Doc, is that I love life. I love life. And it's my purpose in life to remind people of who they are in life. That we are what I call divine beings of light, and joyfully reminding people and assisting people in remembering who they are in this thing called life. So my whole ministry is really about that. It's about, taking what we call the new thought, ancient wisdom, which is an interesting term for me lately, but taking all of that and putting it into practice, right? Putting it into practice. How do I make this applicable to my life now? Yeah, it sounds good, but how does it work for me now? So to that end, I teach classes. I speak maybe 3 Sundays a week at different centers around the nation. My God, you guys, this is my 20th year as a licensed practitioner. I don't know how that flew by so very quickly. But 18 of those years, guys, have been doing this, so I'm really, really humbled by that I get to do this work. I don't have to, but I get to, and it's really a rewarding thing, man. So that's me, loving people and getting them to see that life is something that is for them.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I want to start out because you just kind of touched on it a little bit. You have been a long time professional practitioner with the Centers for Spiritual Living and involved in a lot of different things, from the magazine to the World Ministry of Prayer and all that. But recently, let's say, stretched the wings a little bit and put that big old REV in front of your name. and I'm really interested. What was kind of the driver there? But more importantly, what was it like for you in consciousness to make that step and say, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna expand my understanding, my education, and do what it's going to take to get the Rev in front of my name.
Yeah. I was mentioning before we went live that there was a minister, Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson, CSL Delaware, who basically inspired me through some conversations, to go back and get my credential to become a minister. And so I went through Emerson Theological Institute. And what I loved about that, because of all the work that I've done throughout the years, they took a lot of that as credit. And so not only did I get my ministerial credential, but I also got my master's and working on my doctorate now. As I started doing the classwork, and that when I said yes to doing it, everything just began to open up. And what I mean by that is, I have been playing, as you guys know, because you've known me for a while, I've been playing that ministerial hokey pokey dance since 2007. Put my foot in, get in the class, and get out, right? But this time, guys, it was a very definite full body yes. It was a yes. And then I realized that I wasn't running from it for the past 18 years. I've been preparing for it. I have been preparing for it. And after I said yes and went through the classes that I had to go through, the consciousness, I believe, has always been there because of the work, especially with the World Ministry of Prayer. But this is something wider. This is something bigger. This is something deeper that I'm being called to show up more. And I got to tell you, don't tell Eugene I said this, but there was always been a little bit of a fear about showing up, right? Well, that's been gone for a while now, but it's like, okay, now let's show up in a greater capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a spot on statement, I think, in terms of at least what I've experienced in terms of becoming a minister and what others have expressed in that the call, I think, for all of us, whether it's not necessarily to be a minister, but the call for everyone to be of service at their heart is always there. And I think that's what ministry is really about. And so whether you are a so-called lay person or a practitioner or a minister, once you get a glimpse of the oneness of it all, and that I can't do anything anywhere with anyone that's not affecting me. And then if I don't bring the servant heart to that, not to be a slave, but to be a servant, to be in a relationship to where we can do the cosmic dance, it all folds open. And then as you step forward and become practitioner and minister, it just gets bigger and the call to serve becomes wider. So I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And we're big on transparency around here, folks. So I do want to say that I have recently, over the past year, stepped into a role with an organization known as the Emerson New Thought Center, which is the church governing body of the Emerson Theological Institute. So it was actually my great pleasure to sign your diplomas this year at the Affiliated New Thought Network's annual retreat, where the Emerson graduation is. That graduation is online. You can go to the YouTube, our YouTube channel, as well as the ANTN YouTube channel, and take a look at that graduation ceremony where Eugene got to walk across the stage and we handed you all kinds of paperwork.
Right.
But and also we've had, we've known, like, as you said, we've known each other a long time. If you go back in the archives here at New Thought Media Network, we've had a little of that hokey pokey with you too. Getting a show started and then it not working, and getting another show started and then it not working, and things coming around. And so what we know is things happen in their divine timing. So we'd love to hear a little more, like, what's going on right now what's happening, what are you doing right now, what's working, and where do you got your foot in right now?
I think I have 3 or 4 feet. Here's the thing, right? Once I walked that path of becoming a minister and just continuing to do my work, I got to tell you, fellas, that life just flows so easily. It's like I really get now that there's nothing that I need. I really get that, right? So what do I have my feet in? So I've been doing a weekly podcast now. God, we're coming up on a year. It'll be a year in March, called Eugene Holden's Academy of Self Mastery. I've been writing, my blogs have been out. I've been doing that every week for probably a year and a half. And again, it's just another way that I get to serve my purpose. And my purpose, and I like to say my purpose, I've had this written out since 2003. That it's my purpose to be a light and a way shower. Joyfully, I assist others in remembering who and what they are, divine beings of light. And together we reveal heaven on earth. And over the 20 years that I've had that purpose statement, I found that has been my entire life. So the blogs, the podcast, I still write the affirmations for the Science of Mind magazine, which has been a beautiful, beautiful experience since 2007, going on 19 years there. So that's what I'm doing. I love speaking. I love going out to teach or teaching on Zoom. But that's where I'm at. Yeah, there are some other things that are on the horizon, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. But it's really exciting. Some really good stuff is going on. I'm in this beautiful relationship that has just been really a wonderful, I'm going to use the phrase, a godsend. It's just been really, really good. I'm learning so much about me as relationships do if we allow them to, right? Spiritual practice. I used to say, remember the Star Trek with James T. Kirk and how it would come on space, the final frontier. Relationship, the final frontier. It'll take you to places you've never been before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good. Life,
Yes.
guys, life is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Two things you said there that got my motor running was, the first one is this stepping from one level to the next. Because when we look at ancient wisdom, and I love ancient wisdom because I study ancient wisdom,
right?
Whether it's from across the spectrum,
Right.
but there's this idea of rites of passage or initiation. It went by many different names.
Yeah.
And what it was purposely done for was to expand your consciousness. So when you move from a lay person to a practitioner, your consciousness expands. Whether you activate it or not is another story, but it will expand as you get more information and so forth, all the way up the ladder, right? And then that just fits perfectly with this idea of relationship, because as your consciousness expands, your understanding and your interaction or your relationships to everything change. It's like a baby who's crawling. Their relationship is one thing, and when they start walking and another level of consciousness appears, I can see things, I'm not always looking at the ground or whatever, a whole nother level of relationships begin to transform. And so I think, especially now as we move through this new year, that's just, we're 13 days in it. That is the key point and cornerstone, I think, that as new thought ministers, practitioners, name it what we will, it is about what is the relationship am I in with three things. What is the relationship I am in with the Creator, no matter what you call it? What is the relationship between me and the creator, and me and the created, meaning everything else? And if we can get that in right relationship, I think what you're saying in terms of being a way shower and allowing people to be lit up, that's the key.
Right. Yeah. Well said. You know, going back to that purpose, you know, and over the last 6 months, you know, I kind of paused on just that first line. It is my purpose to be a light in a way shower. Stop. Eugene, what does that mean? Right. And I asked myself, what does it mean to be a light? You know, and what I came to realize is what it means is for me to be surrendered to that power and to that source of that light. Right. You know, and I remember hearing years ago, even before I got into classes, Reverend Michael Beckwith said once during service, he says, once you say yes to God, creator, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, once you say yes to that, your life is no longer yours. Right. And it took me years to find out or to realize what that meant. Right. So I'm not here for me. Right. As you said, Elzia, we are here to be servants, you know, and I'm here to serve my purpose. Right. And my purpose. And when I say being a light in Hawaii Shore, especially that light part, you know, to go into a restaurant or go into a store and just say, hey, how is your day going? And to light them up. Right. Because it's that easy, folks. It's that easy to offer somebody your smile. What a beautiful thing. And that's how we light folks up.
I both of you, between the two of you today, you're reminding me of that Ernest Holmes quote that anyone may become a revealer of truth that lives in close contact with the indwelling spirit.
Yeah.
And to me, that's always been the ultimate relationship, even beyond my wife and even beyond my kids. How do I embrace, but also how do I demonstrate? How do I show folks that I'm in a deep, deep relationship with the divine?
Right.
It's a great way to be, I guess.
A great way to be. A great way to be. Reverend Elzia, I think it was you years ago who pulled my coattail to an Egyptian phrase that meant God. It was Hu, H-U, Hu. So human being. And it's like, okay, God, man, being. It's like, okay, you know. And so, but being in that relationship with the infinite, man, that relationship with the infinite, for me, that's the most important thing. It's the most important thing for me.
And you know, and you just, when you brought up that ancient Egyptian god Hu, and it usually came with the other god Sia. There's a whole called the Husia. It talks about those two gods together create this divine utterance speech, which is the Hu, and the insight from Sia that says, if I have a divine utterance, a conversation or relationship with this insight that's always there, we can become human beings. We can become this being that speaks the truth, that is the truth, that lives the truth. And we get it twisted, I think, because, you know, my latest kick is when we look at the ancient wisdom, when you think about it, what did it take for the ancient ones who knew nothing about the creation when they first got here? They had to learn it. What kind of awareness and relationship that they have to be in to understand the seasons, to understand night and day, to understand the birthing process? There was a relationship and a intuitive, because we don't have to observe anymore. We don't have to pay close attention, right? It's given to us by the click of a button, and we're losing some of that skill, which I think the New Thought community is about. Is that how do we bring this new thought, if you will, of being observant, being in awareness, attaching ourselves to the insight, that indwelling spirit that was within, so that we can hit the spark.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you ask the question how, and for me, it's about being the example, right? Let me just show up because of how it feels within me to show up like this. I remember when I first started to wake up, right? And you probably have had this experience as well. You know, you started to wake up and you want to tell everybody. You know, my whole thing at that time was, you know, back in the day on the West Coast, you know, Disneyland, well, you had, you know, a ticket book. You had your A ticket, your B ticket, your C tickets, and these tickets would get you on certain rides. And the E tickets, those E ticket rides were like the Matterhorn, the really great rides. And I used to say, man, I got the E ticket right here, because I was so excited about waking up to this. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. And that was over 20 years ago. Now it's like, okay, I don't need to tell anybody. Let me be the example.
Right.
You know, let me be an example. And people will ask, so what have you been doing? Why are you you are always in a great mood. You are always in a good mood, no matter what. Had an experience with my beloved over the last day or so. And you know, I was just really upset, right? And I said, honey, just let me process this, right? Because what I've learned over these years and ministering to myself as well is that no matter what's going on, I play a part in that. So my process is, okay, all right, that's what happened. She didn't know. And what's my role? Oh, okay, you could have done that. That. And then I came to it's just stuff anyway. It's just stuff. And even though I was upset, I was hurt, I was pissed off, you know, this relationship, I love this person who was in my life. Allowed me the space to do what I needed to do to get past that, so I can come back to love, to return to love. Yeah, it was, I don't know how I got on that, but it's okay.
Absolutely okay.
Yeah.
You bring back
you brought up a good point. I didn't know minister could get mad. I mean, you mean we can get mad? Is that
see.
Yeah. And of course, I mean,
let me tell you something about something, all right? Okay, so we're getting real here, because I'm with my boys here. So there was one time, and when I was in Denver, you know, there for all those years, and as a practitioner, had been a practitioner for going on 10 years or whatever it was, right? And when I realized that if God is everywhere present, then God is present even when I get pissed off and cuss someone out, right? And once I got clear on that, I'm like, oh, it has nothing to do with me. Now, how do I want to show? No, let me not say it like that. It has everything to do with me, but it has everything to do with me surrendering to, okay, now let me show up like as my Christ itself, my Christ self. And, you know, we talk about Christ consciousness. We hear that all the time. And I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what they think that means. For me, what it means is, you know, that Christ self is that aspect of the creator manifesting here as Eugene.
Yeah.
Easy. Which is step two of affirmative prayer. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. Our brother Wayne is with us today, and he's saying, you know, there's this thing I do called spiritual mind treatment. And that's what this conversation is reminding me about, right? Is that there are times, even as a minister, where I slip into that, how dare you, or, oh my God, did you hear what so-and-so did, or whatever that anger might be. But that's the supreme time to do the work. That's the moment to say, okay, is this how I really want to show up?
Right.
as an aggressive a-hole, as somebody that just pops off and starts, or do I want to take a moment, turn within, find that divinity that's within, find and use our practices, spiritual mind treatment, to say, hey, I want to be, this is what I want to be in this conversation or in this arena, in this world at this time. So yeah, there is such a thing as some righteous anger. And anybody that read my Substack article last week, you probably experienced a little bit of that. And I just today released a follow-up to that, that reminds us that it's not necessarily holy and it's not necessarily beneficial to be silent. In today's world, I think it's metaphysical malpractice to be silent in the face of some of what we're seeing happening in the world and in our country. And it's the supreme time to double down on our practices, if you will.
Yeah.
And
I know that we're gonna go Z.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, I'm really working this year on this idea of oneness, right? Because if we say in the beginning all there was is God, or was God, or is God, or however you want to phrase that, whatever it was, if there's only one thing, then what we have been taught to label as bad or outcast or left or any of that is I won't say it's illusion, because it's not. It's like the ebb and flow of life. I can't have a sunshine if I can't have a nighttime. The two go together. They're inseparable.
Yeah.
It's like my boy Alan Watts says, there's this thing called a flower and this thing called a bee that we've labeled as such. But is it really a bee flower or a flower bee? Because one needs the other to coexist. If the bees don't pollinate, and if the pollen ain't there, none of it exists. So it's this one thing in this cosmic infinite dance of displaying its oneness. And sometimes, if you might get stung by the bee, but that's okay. That's what the bee does, and we move it.
I just heard the Black Eyed Peas singing "I'm a bee, I'm a bee, I'm a bee." I think it was you that turned me on to that song, Z, years and years ago when we were ministerial school. Yes. I'm a bee, and right at that time, I was like, the Black Eyed Peas? What are you talking about? Aren't they some like hardcore sexist rap group or something? And I didn't know, but we sometimes get shown the light in the strangest of places when we look at it. So speaking of seeing the light, we need to turn the light on a couple of our sponsors and let some other folks say hello here today. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, let Reverend Eugene grab a sip of water and let you learn a little bit more about what some of the things that are happening here on the New Thought Media Network. But we don't want you to go away. We want you to stick around. We're going to be back in just a minute and a half. We got a whole lot more coming with Reverend Eugene Holden here on New Thought today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website, www.ntmedia.org, to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
And we're back with more of New Thought today on the New Thought Media Network. Our special guest, Reverend Eugene Holden, coming to us all the way from the East Coast of the U.S. You're a couple hours later than us. And, in the commercial break, Eugene, we showed a spot for the radio network, for the radio station, our music radio station. And it reminded me that you've been playing the congos around this movement forever. And this year at the affiliated New Thought Network, you were the backup drummer for Ricky Byers. Yeah. And in a couple of those conversations, it came to me that it sounds to me like you're in her phone. And when she needs somebody to play the drums, she just calls Eugene and you show up. And I got to wondering, what's it like as a musician, as a creator, to just like know that New Thought musical royalty just has you on speed dial. It says, hey, I need you here. Get here. I need you here. What's that like?
Well, Ricky Byers, and I've been knowing Ricky since '99. And so we go back a ways. I was her first paid assistant on staff for about a year or so. And then what's it like? This is what I want to say about my beautiful dear friend Ricky, and she is exactly that, my beautiful dear friend. It amazes me that I'm like, Ricky Byers is my friend. Because we will talk maybe once a week and a half, and we'll just talk. Well, what is it like? Oh man, Robert, it's so much fun. When and I hadn't seen Ricky in a number of years, and it was almost 2 years ago. She did a retreat at the, what's it called? Who puts that on every year? Reverend Trish Hall at the Potomac, whatever it's called. And I knew that Ricky was going to be there. She didn't know that I was going to be there. Now, remember, I hadn't seen Ricky in years. So she comes out of the elevator the very first night. I'm like, Ricky, Eugene, how are you doing? I'm like, hey, I have my drums. She goes, great, bring them. And it was just her and her on her piano. And after we did that whole weekend, I'm going to divulge that she was saying, okay, well, I need to pay you. I'm like, Ricky, you can't pay me for this, because Ricky's music, Ricky's personage, the way that she is over those years ago when I first began in this, is what kind of saved my life, or opened not my eyes, but opened up my heart in a way, because her music is teaching in itself. So I'm like, you can't pay me for this, but I am now your percussionist. She goes, yep, you are. So now she does pay me. She takes care of me, and all of that is really, really good. And as you can tell, Robert, when we were there, I love playing, and I love playing with her. Yeah, that's my buddy. Yeah, in fact, we just talked 2 days ago. Yeah.
And that's another one, folks. Head on over to the affiliated New Thought Network's YouTube page and take a look at the retreat videos from this past October. You'll see Reverend Eugene on stage. That concert on Tuesday night with choir and Ricky in full regalia, and yourself with a bass player and
a band.
Stay with a full band, and you definitely you were in your element. We could see that.
Yeah, I love playing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And that just sets the stage, I think, as this second half in terms of the future of New Thought. I think the more we can get into the idea that we're in a dance, right? I used this in the sermon on Sunday about, there's a rhythm, there's a dance, there's a step that's going on throughout the universe, and it's calling us forward. And there's no longer a time to be a wallflower. Back in the day, if they had these things called wallflowers, which people would go to dances and wouldn't dance. They just stand on the wall and watch everybody and then criticize. But now it is a time for everybody. Whether you got the beat, whether you move into the melody, the rhythm, or the beat, you need to be out here dancing. And once you start, you just lose yourself in it. And I think we're being called, especially as ministers, but really the whole humanity is find the universe, find the rhythm of the oneness, and let's just dance this thing out.
Yeah. Unless someone's living under a rock, I don't care what part of the world you're in, unless you're living under a rock, we know that there's stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'll keep it clean because there may be kids who are going to tap into this. But there's a little caca going on, right? And even though that's going on, I want to go back to what we were speaking about a little bit earlier, and that is cultivating the relationship with the divine. Because this is what I've learned throughout these years, my brothers, is that no matter if you're New Thought, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Taoist, whatever it is, every human being, well, first of all, they were humans before they were any of those, right? And every human being basically wants and needs the same thing. Of course, food, a place to live, and all of that. But they want to be loved and have the opportunity to love, right? They want to. It's interesting to watch humanity, human beings. I'm going to just use the United States as an example. When there's a catastrophe that goes on, it's amazing to watch how people come together. It doesn't matter what color they are.
Right. People
come together, when there's a catastrophe. So I think that we are in times of catastrophe now. But what we're being called to do, I believe, is number one, to cultivate that relationship with the divine, call it whatever you want. And then recognize that it is also that same divine that's in that person that doesn't look like you, or who may vote in a different way. We have been so miseducated throughout the centuries in this freaking separation. One of the things, brothers, that breaks my heart still today is watching man's inhumanity to mankind. It boggles my mind. I don't get it. Breaks my heart at times.
Yeah. Folks, thank you for that, because you bring something up for me. And right before I get that, I want to remind everybody that along the way, I created my own definition of New Thought. It's a positive spirituality that sees the divine within us, teaches the creative power of thought, and helps us transform our lives while contributing to a brighter world. And what you're speaking to for me, Eugene, is we have a slight difference between a man-made catastrophe and what we call a natural catastrophe.
A slight difference?
So when a tornado touches down in Iowa, nobody sits there and says, well, your politician did that, or well, your politician did that. But when we have a human-made catastrophe, like we are witnessing right now throughout Minneapolis, a human-created catastrophe, we have a tendency to forget that. We forget that the divine is within every one of us.
Right.
And we think that I'm the divine here, and my perspective is the divine here. And I was reminded recently of an old saying that I had been brought up in New Thought with, and that is that there is no private good. My good is your good is my good, and if it's good for me, if it's good for the planet, if it's good, but again, we kind of lose sight, and we want to make that good my good. And if you don't see that, if you don't see what I call good is good, then you obviously aren't good. You're wrong, and you're bad. And it's a horrible day. And I'd really love to hear, how do you traverse or navigate the conversations that are happening, the experiences that are happening when someone comes and says, your way is wrong? We like to throw softballs once in a while, so yeah, there you go.
That's a softball with a curve and a slider. But if somebody came to me with just that, I would do what I just did. I would laugh, like, okay. Okay, great. If that's what they think, and then fine. And this is the thing for me, because it is a challenge, right? To keep that high vibe. It is a challenge. It's challenging, and somebody comes to me and goes, well, you have your head in the proverbial sand and you are ignoring it. No, I'm not ignoring. I know exactly what's going on. I'm not ignorant to what's going on, but I'm going to ignore how it's going to. I'm not going to allow it to dictate how I feel, or dictate how. I'm not going to allow it to drag me down that path, right? So let me do my part. We hear and have heard over the years, what's mine to do, what's ours to do, and I've said this before. That's a great question. It really is, what's mine to do. But for me, that's my second question. My first question for myself is, who am I to be in this? Right. And so maybe I am to be compassionate. Maybe I am to be vocal. Maybe I am to be silent. Maybe I am to be in prayer. Maybe I am to go march. Maybe. But once I get clear on who am I to be in this, that being informs my doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So when someone says to me, so this is what's going on and your way is wrong, I'm like, okay, well, you don't have to do my way. It works for me. Find what works for you, and maybe we can work together.
Yeah. And that just, Robert's going to say, oh God, he's finna say that again. But it just brings to my mind this idea of oneness once again, because when I look at the body, everybody's individual body, the heart has something to do. The lung has something to do, and they better do it in relationship and not get confused.
Right.
And think that the lung is going to pump some blood and the heart is going to take in some air, or they're going to be a problem. Right. And so
right.
When we're able to look at this whole world and this whole cosmos in that kind of relationships, if I'm out running, I may not understand why my chest is hurting because I'm asking the heart to beat too much, but I ain't going to complain too much either. I'm going to let it do its thing, and I'm going to find the right relationships between my running, my breathing, and my heart, and we going to get in what we talked about earlier. We're going to get into that cosmic dance where we just, all right, we got the rhythm now. We got the move. Let's just keep it going. And that's what we have to do as humans, because if not, there's going to be trouble. Right.
It's interesting, Reverend Elzia. I'm glad you brought that up in terms of all of these things that are going on. The heart does this, and the lung, and it's amazing to me. One of the things I like to say is, if we're not in awe, we are not paying attention. As human beings, we are so beautifully crafted, right? The heart does its thing; that's its job. The lungs, right? There are over 40 trillion cells in the body, right? And they all have their own individualized work to do to make this thing function, right? So taking an example from nature, I think it's either in a hadith or it's in the Quran, when Allah said, if if I did not make another ayat verse, nature is more than enough for mankind to learn from, right? So how do we come? So one of the things for me, and that's why I love watching, I go outside and I just look at the trees and how everything just works together. The tree that may be an oak tree is right next to a dip, like a Chinese elm, but they don't fight about the ground that they're in. They find ways to coexist. So as people, supposedly the most intelligent things on the planet, okay, there are ways for us to stop. And that's what I think that we're here. The three of us and more, of course, are here to remind people that there's a better way to do this. And we have to find a better way to do this. And there have been people speaking about a better way to do it, that we need to do it a better way for years and years and years. There's Gandhi, there's Buddha, there's Yeshua Messiah, there's Martin Luther. There's a lot of people throughout the centuries who have been talking about, hey, folks, we need to get this shit together.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to say that I think the dolphins would probably debate us a little bit about humans being the smartest creatures on the planet. We just haven't taken the time to learn their language. So,
right.
That's that human arrogance piece coming in. So, but Eugene, before we completely run out of time here today, yeah, it can go quick, huh? We'd love to hear a little bit about what's coming up for you. Do you have any classes happening or things you'd like people to know about? What's kind of in the near future for your ministry and your work, and how people can stay in touch with you and such?
Okie dokie. Well, currently there is a class that I'm teaching through CSL Delaware called Exploring our roots. You guys know about the roots class. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, and you can still get in. I think today will be the last time, but you can reach out to www.cslde.org. So there's that class. On February 9th, seeing how January 9th is already passed. February 9th, I'm starting a class that I created called The Art of Mastery, Diving into Your Genius. That's through CSL North Jersey, and I think that's CSLNJ.org.
Yep.
And so you want to check that out. That's a great class. I'm using the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Great book. I taught a class on that almost a year ago, and this one is like really, really good. What else do I have going on? I speak every third Sunday at CSL Delaware. Oh,
and I'm pulling up your website here, so you can see these over on Eugene's website, folks. There's the class for Delaware, and Sunday the 1st at North Jersey. Awakened Heart CSL as well. Lots of stuff. We'll put that address on the website here for you, so you can take a look at also.
Gotta love modern technology, right? And the website, folks, is www.eugeneholden.com. eugeneholden.com. Easy to remember, first and last name.com.
Yes.
I still see clients. Life is good. Life is good. We've put into this work.
Absolutely.
And it's just getting better. So, Elzia, you're going to love this real fast. I know we don't have much time. So we hear this open at the top, right? So the song that I put on this morning was, we got to tear the roof off the mother, got to turn off the mother sucker, tear the roof off the sucker, tear the roof off, we got to... If you're going to be open at the top, got to tear the roof off the sucker. We got a real type of thing going on.
Yes. Well, and
I know we don't have enough time.
Yeah, we do. Go, Z, go.
Music. music is the key. It really is the key. And Stevie had that song, Songs in the Key of Life. We have to figure out what key we're in, what octave we're in, and what we're playing, and then Catarupa.
One of the things glad you brought that up. In this one, when I was in Denver, life, it's all about the music. It's all about the music. Check this out, right? Universe, one stanza or one song, right? One verse. And when everybody is in one accord, things run harmoniously to their own rhythm. It's all about the music. And it's perfect because it's math.
Beautiful. Folks, we're going to take another real quick break and say thank you to some of our sponsors and organizational donors and such. But we're going to come back with more with Reverend Eugene and our final thoughts for the day before we completely run out of time. So please don't go away. Help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors and individual donors. Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. Yes. Thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. Thank you to Reverend Eugene for being with us today. And we're not done yet, though. And I want to let you know we'll be back again next week with Reverend Cheryl Rogers, a Unity minister from Unity Kitchener, who you saw go across on that reel there. So plan to join us next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, right here on the New Thought Media Network. All right, folks, it's time for our final thoughts. I'm going to kick it over to Rev Z to get us started.
Well, I'm going to sing that same old song. Oneness is all there is. So let's go and figure out what that rhythm is, and let's begin to live oneness.
Beautiful. Reverend Eugene.
To tag along with that, in that oneness, be kind to one another, love one another as you love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard I have a phrase that comes through my visioning a lot, and it is love and be loved. And when you look at be loved, if you write it real fast, it all comes together and it spells out beloved.
Yep.
And that's what I want everybody to remember is it may not always seem it, we may not always see it, but we are each the beloved, every one of us.
Yep.
So no matter how long it may take to get something done, no matter how many times you might stick your foot in and take it back out again, you're beloved. And we want you to keep coming back. So Reverend Eugene, I hope you'll find some time, maybe come back again and join us sometime.
Absolutely. Of course, my brothers.
All right. We do have a full schedule, so it might be a few months, folks, but we'll get Reverend Eugene back on the schedule for later this year. Please consider joining us here on the New Thought Media Network. Reach out with any questions or comments you might have, and we'll be sure to get back to you. So thanks for being with us today. We're going to get out of here for now, but until next time, please know that we wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.